Have you ever recommended any job or something like that? The point is that whenever you recommend somebody, what are the key factors that come to your mind? What are the parameters on which you judge a person? And how do you specifically recommend a particular person for a particular job or for a particular kind of designation? So all these things, all these features come together and put into a particular domain, and that particular domain is termed as recommendation system. Recommendation system is nothing but it's a kind of system or the software or the kind of model, whatever you want to say. It's just a particular soft component that is allowing you to judge a person in place of a human being. Means a computer or a robot is doing the same job, whatever earlier human used to do it. Now, point is that when we are saying that recommendation system is a kind of soft component, then obviously it must be working on some sort of information. Means that some AI-based modeling must have been working behind the scene. Obviously, it's there and it does the suitable filtering also to predict the kind of criteria on which whether it need to give the red signal or green signal. Means whether the person is recommended or not. So similar way, in short, if we say it's just a subclass of information filtering system that seeks to predict the rating or the preference a user might give to an item for the person, anything. So that's the basic thing of recommendation system. Let's see how specifically research talks about it. So coming to the specific definition, key concepts, keywords, and all the things related to recommendation system, I will like to recommend you this Egyptian Informatics Journal recommendation system principles, methods, and evaluation. Okay. Now, this particular work is offering a kind of open access, so there is no difficulty. You can directly jump onto this particular URL and you will find the related information. Science Direct offers this article, and they initially talks about the kind of digital information growth and so many different companies participating hugely in the big data creation and all the things. Still, based on the user's data, etc., you need to filter out all the related details because every detail is not useful for every company or the seeker. So that's why the recommendation system is supposed to make sort of decision based on the specific parameters. And this parameter means this environment in which the recommendation system work is a bit complex because so much information is available about the candidate or any particular entity on which you are making the decision. Okay. So specifically, for example, if I talk about the e-commerce websites, then there are hundreds, not even hundred, there are thousands of items, and every item is having at least 20 to 30 properties. Based on those properties, you are supposed to judge whether the item is recommended for a particular user or not. Now, it is not just the case that you need to take the decision for thousands of items. You are having millions of users also. So you need to make the mapping of each item for each user, whether that particular item belongs to the cart or the to the pocket size of a particular user or not, whether it's the suitable buy item or for a particular user or not, whether we should recommend it for a particular user or not, whether the interest of a particular user lies in the domain or not. So all these questions need to be taken care of, and it should be done automatically. So you must be very in a particular situation where you need to be very cautious. Means the recommendation system should be written or the driven in such a way that it should be very cautious that you should not display the wrong item to the person. Otherwise, he or she may leave the platform. So that's also a kind of danger. So recommendation system or the expert system also many people call it. So a kind of systems where the people expect the kind of output from the system. Those are kind of very particular, very accurate, very precise in nature. And that should be driven from the large, vast heuristic that you have acquired, or means that the model or the recommendation system has acquired over the period of time. Okay, so all these things should have been taken care of, and then you can dive into this huge ocean of learning that is available with expert system or the recommendation system. So in this recommendation process, there are different phases. First is information collection. As I told you that there is a huge big data. So obviously you need to find the related information and then you need to collect it. Then in this thing, you may have the explicit feedback, you have the implicit feedback, you have the hybrid feedback. And obviously, after this process of information collection, you will have a learning phase because just the information collection is not going to work. You need to make the system learn. So the prediction or the recommendation phase is going to be there, because after the learning is done, then you are going to have the sort of prediction. Now, this normally when we say that what are the kind of phases and how the flow is going to look like, it is going to look very simple. But inherently, so many different tasks are going on that it is not so simple as it is looking like. So every component is having so many hundreds of subcomponents, and those are related in a specific cohesive way. So you need to understand the role of each component, how it is related to other, and how it is influencing the behavior of other components. Coming to the recommendation filtering techniques, again, there are different sorts of techniques, including the content-based, collaboration-based, and the hybrid. You need to be, again, specifically guided based on the kind of requirement to choose a particular kind of recommendation system. Okay. Now the pros and cons of the existing systems, then some of the related examples, then the what is the collaborative learning and sort of things. All these things are available in this particular work, and it's a bit lengthy. Means as a initial researcher, means as a first reader of a research article, it might be a lengthy paper for you because it's a kind of review paper, survey paper. But I will recommend you to go for a good survey paper or the recommendation paper, because whenever you are going for a specific type of article where you are going to find the first step learning, then you should have a specific breadth of the topic, and that could only be taken from a particular kind of review or the survey paper. So go to this particular paper and you'll find a lot of related information. Now that is the detail that are particular for this particular paper, but in general, if we talk about, then there are so many things which are related to recommendation system, because when we are talking about recommendation system, whole list of recommendations are available for every user. Now different sorts of methods are also there, which are used in recommendation system, including the factor models and neighborhood models. And there are different sorts of key working techniques are available inside these models. Now coming to the specific data sets, so there are hundreds of people who have contributed to this particular domain of data sets with respect to this recommendation system. Now, when we say that recommendation system is actively involved, then it is not only with respect to a particular domain. You might be having the recommendation with respect to movie, with respect to a specific eating item, with respect to a shopping list, with respect to any particular destination visit or something like that. Okay. So with respect to all these things, I would like to tell you some of the related data sets, including the movie lens. Then you have the polyglot, then you have the opinions, and then you have the meme tracker, etc. Okay, so there are multiple data sets available. And coming to the specific works, then you can go for the sequential recommendation or the session-based recommendation. Then you can have the interest-based recommendation. So again, on what basis, on what criteria you are recommending something to somebody that is going to be your specific interest. Coming to the works which have already been done by the different authors, so there are a number of works available with respect to recommendation system. One is wide and deep learning for recommender systems. It is having the TensorFlow implementation and given in 2016 by the authors. It is coming from Microsoft and under the category of recommendation system. Very good paper, you can go for it, and it will have you a very good idea about the kind of papers which are related to recommendation system. Again, moving forward, when we are talking about the specific recommendation system, then XDeep FM is a kind of work which is combining the explicit and implicit feature interactions for recommendation system. So again, a TensorFlow implementation proposed in 2018, and it is available at the GitHub. So if you are interested, you can go and try hands-on. Then coming to the other work, deep learning recommendation model for personalization and recommendation system is available in 2019. GitHub repository available, and the PyTorch implementation is there. So point is that number of works are available and mostly are related to AI or deep learning, and it's not a surprising thing, because when you are having vast pool of data, then automatically the things become suitable for deep learning or AI. And when you are having the kind of problems which are not easy to get done through humans, then obviously you are going to take help of machines, and that could only be done with the help of AI. So all these things pointing into a particular direction that go towards AI. Take some specific criteria on which you want to filter out the data, then train the models and just make the recommendation. So that's all from my side. Hopefully you must have liked the video and you must have found something useful. If you don't like anything, please do comment below and criticize the video. We'll definitely incorporate your suggestions for improving the quality in future videos. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.